Why do women think the average man is ugly? This is a question that I think a lot of people have had when they look at Tinder stats and they see how men just basically gets no matches. There's also been some studies that have come out that have shown that when women are surveyed, they rate the average guy as below average looking. And not even by like a small margin. It's quite profound that the majority of women think the majority of men are ugly. Conversely, when men were studied, they found that men were pretty damn fair in their assessment, judging women's appearances in a standard bell curve shape. I think it's kind of undeniable that most women think the average guy is ugly. Now, this is a phenomenon that I like to call benchmarking. This is when you compare everybody else to yourself. If a tall guy is in a room full of average height people, he's gonna feel like people are kinda short. If a guy with an average income is in a room full of rich people, he's gonna feel kinda poor. And when women benchmark their looks, they tend to benchmark their looks with a bunch of artifice put on top of it. The average woman puts in so much artifice into their looks, like we're talking about makeup, filters in videos, plastic surgery, skincare regimens, and photos that are very flattering on social media. Most women put in a tremendous amount of effort artificially increasing their looks level beyond what their actual genetic underlying material is. If you think about it just logically, both men and women have the same genetic material for looks, right? Now, a brother and sister comes from the same parents, and across 8 billion people on the globe, the genetic material for looks is gonna be the same. What isn't the same is that women put in so much more artifice compared to what the average man does. Like, if you think about just like the average woman that goes out to a nightclub, she's like got high heels on, she's got lovely makeup on, she's got like a figure hugging dress, she may have like plastic surgery, she may have like an underlying corset making her waist smaller and like a pad making her butts look bigger. Like, there's so much stuff that women do and men just do absolutely nothing to artificially increase their looks, at least the average man. I know on this channel I speak about like plastic surgery and discuss the pros and cons of roids, but like I'm in the minority here. Like, I'm not the average guy. This is not what the average guy is concerned about when it comes to looks, right? It's kind of fruity for the average guy to put on a moisturizer on his skin. Like that's like the level of mental bandwidth the average guy puts into his looks. So when you think about how women benchmark their own looks, they're benchmarking it on all of this artifice. Yeah, it does seem like she's better looking than she really is. And it does seem like the average man is worse looking because she is comparing herself with 2 points added to her through all the artifice compared to guys that are just simply a 5. Those guys that are simply a 5 look worse, because all the women that would otherwise be a 5 are elevated to be higher than they otherwise would be. And the weird thing is, like, lookmaxing gets like a bad rap, but it's kind of just like shit that women have figured out in the last 1,000 years that now men are figuring out, but like somehow like we're the shallow ones. And I would even say even like a hardcore looks maxer, they don't even put that much effort into their looks compared to like an average woman at a nightclub. Like makeup, I'm not wearing makeup. I have a channel about looks maxing. You can see this bruise under my eye. You'd think I'd remove that, but I can't be bothered doing that. Like, the level of artifice that the average woman puts into their looks is just unbelievable. Sometimes on Instagram reels I see like these thirst trap videos and they're not even like hiding the obvious insane filters. Like, gravity is like warping around their waist to like make it smaller. It's just like there's a mini black hole just behind her. It's ridiculous, but like this is kind of like the norm that I see on like social media now for women. So they're basing their looks on this crazy unrealistic image they've built up into their mind and benchmarked. So of course to them the average guy looks butt ugly, but they would look butt ugly too if they didn't have all this artifice. As men, we have this like emotional bias to moralize things that don't need to be moralized. We're always like worrying about if we're playing fair and if we're being a good sport, and women don't think about any of this at all. Like, they don't have like this internal dialogue about whether or not makeup is being fraudulent or not. But like we absolutely do. We agonize over whether we should like put on a skin moisturizer. Like, it's crazy. It's like women are going into a fight and they've got like a rifle, they've got a handgun, they've got like a sniper rifle, they got grenades, they got like a laser scope, they got special armor. And us men, we're going into the fights worrying about following the Queensberry rules of boxing. It's just such a misaligned sense of like fair play that we have. Like, I've dated girls that have just straight up told me that they filter their pictures to make their face look better than it really is. And here's the thing, a lot of men don't realize this, but filter doesn't necessarily mean just changing up the colors or whatever. No, the filters that women use often like change like the contours in the face and like change the structure of the face to where it's not how it looks in reality. And like, I've had girls like admit they do this on their Instagram. Like, women are really in the sexual marketplace playing to win, and men are playing to be fair. And I think women kind of like naturally just have more like power in like the sexual marketplace, just like on a biological, physiological level. But also when you factor in like, you know, this lookmaxing, for lack of a better term, that women have, and the total lack of this culture that men have, of course women are gonna hold all the cards compared to men. I think a society that kind of strays away from this a bit is South Korea. The culture in South Korea is that men are actually pretty damn clued in the importance of looks. They know what's up. Like, a lot of them try to go for like the K-pop phenotype or like the Asian Chad phenotype. There's conscious effort and a bit of artifice, real mental bandwidth that a lot of South Korean men put into looking good. More so with like men in the West, like we're playing in like the Stone Age still. If you enjoyed this video, chances are you'll enjoy my video about why villains in the media are always depicted as ugly. You can go check that out on screen here.